6 miles to Chicago. We got a full tank of gas, half a pack of cigarettes. It's dark, and we're wearing sunglasses. Hit it.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another Long Island Blues Warehouse. Mark Klein hanging out with you. Every week, we like to bring you a new band on this stage, showcasing what Long Island is all about, and a few other states around the surrounding area once in a while for good measure. This week, we're keeping it with the Long Island feel as far as musicianship, there it is, goes. We're talking to an artist tonight that has been performing close to 20 years. I find it hard to believe because she hardly looks old enough to have been playing for 20 years, but she claims it's been almost 20 years. She started when she was 6, what can I tell you? Why is she one of the harder working musicians on Long Island? Well, for starters, they did over 100 shows last year, and they're on their way to doing the same this year. This week's featured artist on the stage with us right now, the Pamela Betti Band.
I melted on the floor. Never had I seen a man like that before. I fell in love. Oh Lord, I fell in love. Oh Lord, the next thing I knew, I fell in love with you. Yeah. Oh, but later on that evening, he took me by the hand. I knew that this was gonna be one hell of a romance. I fall in love. Oh Lord, I fall in love. Oh Lord, the next thing I knew, I fell in love with you, yeah. Come on, baby, do it, honey. Oh, and after all this time, I still feel the same. I get weak in the knees every time he calls my name. I fall in love. Oh Lord, I fall in love. Oh Lord, the next thing I knew, I fell in love with you. Oh, I fall in love. Oh Lord, I fall in love. Oh Lord, I fall in love. Yes, the next thing I knew, fell in love with you, yeah.
Oh, yeah. This week's featured artist, the Pamela Betti Band.
Betty.
It's good to see you again, Pamela.
Oh, thanks.
How are you, kiddo?
I'm good.
We try and get you people in here once a year or so if we can.
Yes, you do.
And we're pretty much on course for that, I think. And it's good to see you again.
Thank you. Lovely to see you, Mr.
Supporting that
Klein.
lovely short hair I like.
Yes, I'm digging it.
Last time we had you in here was a trifle bit longer.
Yeah.
But it looks good on you.
Thanks.
It looks good. You lost some weight?
I did I? I gave it to Frank.
Because you know what? You do these boot camp type thing programs, don't you?
Yeah, you know.
It's ridiculous.
You get in shape, you drink for a couple of months, you get back in shape. You know, it's that yo-yo thing.
It's a give and take thing.
It works.
It sure does. It ain't broke, don't fix it, I guess.
That's right, baby.
The life of a musician.
It's true.
Pam, I want to start with you and talk about some history if we can. We have a whole new audience out there, as you know. As I mentioned earlier, you've been playing close to 20 years, which I still find a little hard to believe.
Yes, especially when you asked me how long before and I actually thought about it. Yeah, it's a long time.
Let's talk about when you began. Obviously you were young.
Well, you know, everyone always asks me that question. I didn't start when I was a kid. I mean, I was in, you know, the talent show and all that other stuff, but I didn't take it seriously until my sister got married, and she married a really great guitar player named George Chapman.
Okay.
And he had a band called The Reputations. He played at Kenny's. I mean, he was really well known. And I sang at their wedding, and he kind of went, I didn't know your sister could sing. And she said, neither did I. And I said, neither did I. So that's how it started. I started doing backup in his band, and then I stole his guitar player. And we started playing all over Long Island. I'm sorry, all over New York City. So
it's funny because coincidentally, you sang a couple of songs at my wedding.
I did, actually.
Speaking of wedding singing.
Yeah, that was a great wedding.
We just watched the video 2 weeks ago, my wife and me. And
isn't it great that they have wedding videos so you can actually remember what you did after doing all those shots?
Always,
right.
always. And you were a tremendous contributor to our wedding, so I thank you again for that.
Thank you, Mr. Klein.
Let's talk about junior high, high school days. Were you gigging live?
No.
School projects, anything to speak of?
Nope. It all started way after that.
Way after that?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
I look young, Klein.
You
I'm not
do.
that young, all right?
It's that drinking/boot camp thing we talked about.
That's exactly it. That's what it is.
Pam, we got a lot to do in a short period of time. I said we keep the tunes happening. Then we'll come back and chat more with you and some of these other fine players.
And speaking of boot camp, we're going to do a song about a cookie. So right after this song, we got to go to boot camp and work it off, all right?
Sounds like a plan. You good to go?
I'm good to go.
Once again on the Long Island Blues Warehouse, we are going to keep things moving with this week's featured artist, Pamela Betti.
Diabetes and blubber on my hips. Keep the nightlight running in the kitchen, baby, so I can go down and cruise. OREO cream sandwich, chocolate covered cream filled cookie blue. Yeah. Well, I hide them in the cabinet and I keep them in a jar. Chocolate on my lips, I got that sugar diabetes. I got blubber on my hips. Now I'm not buzzing in the kitchen, baby. Oh, so I can go downstairs and cruise, yeah. Oreo cream sandwich, chocolate covered cream filled cookie blue, yeah. Oreo cream sandwich, chocolate covered cream filled cookie blue. Chocolate covered cream filled cookie blue, yeah.
Oh, yeah. This week's featured artist, the Pamela Betti Band. Nicely done. John HASETH, guitar. Well done, my man, I want to start by saying.
How you doing?
You know what? We're going to talk to you for a minute if we can. First of all, I'm doing real well. How you doing?
All right, I'm doing great.
If I had to take a guess based on what you did, that would be my guess. Well done, my man. Well done.
Thank you very much.
Let's talk about some history with you, John. Let's talk about when you began on the guitar doing your thing. You started at a young age yourself?
Yeah, the beginning of time, basically, yeah.
The beginning of time.
That's right.
And if you can define when the beginning of time was for you, when would that be?
That would be when I was a microcosm.
A micro what?
A microcosm. You know,
microcosm.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm guessing that was like preteens?
Yeah.
Did you start like, out of walk-in?
I started the way most kids start. You know, you get a guitar for your birthday, and you kind of, here, go for lessons, and then you hate it, but then, they make you stick with it, and then you kind of get pushed, and, next thing you know, you're playing in a rock band.
Next thing you know, huh?
Next thing you know, yeah, more or less.
When did you start? First of all, let's talk about when you started taking those lessons that you hated, as you mentioned earlier.
Preteen, like you say, 9, 10.
Did you play nonstop from that age, or did you play for like a short period, put it down, come back to it?
Yeah, played a little, put it down a little,
So you didn't grow into the passion until what? Late teens, early 20s?
Early teens,
Early teens.
Yeah.
All right.
Remember the first time I heard applause, then I was there.
So let me guess, that was like a TV show like Ed Sullivan or something.
No, it was like, the first time I heard applause from me.
Okay. What kind of music were you playing your first projects like?
Classic rock,
Did the classic rock thing?
Yeah.
All right. Hey, listen.
Music of the heroes,
Music of the heroes.
Yeah.
Like the fellow you just did, Jeff Beck,
Oh,
for
absolutely.
example.
Yeah. Wore the grooves off of that, baby.
You were a British invasion guy.
Yeah, all kinds of stuff.
Share with me some other things you were listening to growing up as a kid.
A lot of Jeff Beck, a lot of Rolling Stones, a lot of Eric Clapton, a lot of fusion-y stuff too. Return of Forever, and lots of jazz, stuff like that.
All right,
just everything. Everything I got, it's all good music. It's just good and bad of everything. So I just pick out what I like and throw the rest away.
And that's what you go with.
There you go.
That's what you go with. But you're such a diverse player. You have the ability to mimic just about every player out there. I've seen you. I've seen you at shows. I've seen you do the Buddy Guy. I've seen you do Gary Moore. I've seen you do some of the old blues icons. I've seen you do, Beck beautifully as you just did. You're a hell of an adapt to all these artists out there. I mean, the British guys grabbed you early. Let's talk about guys like Hendrix or
sure. And Page and, all that stuff. Yeah, the early Zeppelin records, big influence. Hendrix, big influence,
Monster player on the guitar.
Sure.
The guys on the stage tonight with Pam, of course, are a strong force on Long Island with what Long Island has to offer in terms of live musicians. And you're just a tremendous talent, my man. You're a tremendous, tremendous talent.
Thank you very much.
Let's talk about how long you've been playing with Pam Betti.
It's about a year and a half, and it's been great.
How'd you cross paths with Pam?
I run an open mic that I still do, but Frank had sat in one night. And
Frankie on the keys here.
Frankie on the keys, CINTRONE, sits in one night for an ailing guitar player. And after the first set, he says, would you like to play guitar with Pamela Betti? And I said, yes. And that was it.
That's all she
wrote.
The
rest is history, and it's been
How you handling the amount of gigs that Pam gets? She's one of the harder. You people on the stage are one of the harder working, active musicians on the stage. Around Long Island.
Personally, I love it.
Did I say one of? It pretty much it is the hardest, isn't it? 100 shows last year, as I mentioned. 100 on your way for this year. That's just ridiculous.
I would play with this band every single night.
You would?
Yes, I would.
That's a passion, my man, and that's where I was going with it. I'm glad to hear it.
You bet.
A monster, my man. John HASETH on the guitar. We thank you so much. Pamela Betti, how you doing, kiddo?
I'm doing very well.
You are one lucky girl. Let me begin by saying.
I am.
You got monster players behind you.
I'm really very lucky. I mean, this is the greatest group of musicians I've ever played with, and I've been around the block.
You've had some lineup changes over the years.
Yeah, I mean, I played with some great musicians. Don't get me wrong. I played with many, many, many musicians, but this is the group of, this is like the super group. And I'm so lucky. I mean, Frank showed up at a gig one day, and out of nowhere, I hadn't seen him in 4 years, and I said, oh my God, Frank CINTRONE. I said, you got your keyboards? He goes, yep. So I said, plug in. He plugged in, and at the end of the gig, I said, you're in my band. And he looked at me, he goes, yeah. He goes, I'm in like 4 bands. I said, why don't you be in a real band? And, and that was it. And he had no choice.
And that's how that started for you, too.
Yep.
Great story. Great beginnings for you, Frankie. Great beginning for you.
And then Frankie brought Craig in. Monster bass player.
Tremendous, tremendous talent.
And Sal was stalking me for a couple of years to be my drummer until I finally gave in. Well, I know. Well, your wife likes me, too.
That's your story and you're sticking to it, huh?
Yeah. He would come to my shows and sit in the back like this. When can I play drums for you? So I said, all right.
Okay.
All right.
Get rid of the drool cup and you're in.
That's right.
I'm going to ask Sal later, and I'm sure the story's going to have a slight variation, a slight change to...
Okay.
So there's 2 stories to there's 2 sides to every coin.
Uh-huh.
I can't wait to hear his side of the coin on that. We're going to get back to you shortly back there, Sal, so we're looking forward to it. Pam Betti,
Yes.
it's time to put you people back to work.
Oh, okay.
Let's jump into another one. We'll come
Sure.
back and chat with some of these other fine players. What are we doing next?
Well, we're going to do a song about my husband and my boyfriend.
So it's about...
I don't have a husband anymore, but this is
But you threw me in it, though.
this is a song about a woman who has a husband and a boyfriend, so it's a lot of fun.
You good to go?
Oh, I'm good to go.
Once again on the Long Island Blues Warehouse, we are going to keep it moving with this week's featured artist. It's Pam Betti.
You can have my husband, but please don't mess with my man. Yeah, you can have my husband, but please don't mess with my man. I'm telling all you girls, I want you all to understand. Money my husband made went for red beans and rice. Mom advised mistakes, now ain't that nice? You can have my husband, but please don't mess with my man. Now I'm telling all you girls, hey girls, you better understand. Come on, baby. When I was with my husband, he was really mean. Now I'm with my man and he treats me like a queen. And have my husband, but please don't mess with my man. I'm telling all you girls, hey girls, you better get your own man. Come on, boys. You can have my husband. You can have my husband. I'll take my husband. You can have my husband. You can have my husband, but please don't mess with my man, my man, my man. Oh, you can have my husband. Somebody take my husband. You can have my husband. Oh, take my husband. You can have my husband, but please don't mess with my man. Woo!
Oh, yeah. This week's featured artist, Pamela Betti. Love the name.
Can you say, oh, yeah, again?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And how. Let's head over to Frankie CINTRONE on the keys, if I can, for a moment, and pick his brain on things. How you doing, Frankie?
How you doing?
It's good to see you again, my man.
It's good to see anything my age, Mr. Klein.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How many
it's all
fingers
good.
am I holding up?
Yes.
Okay. Good job. Good
Nice.
job.
You know, I was trained well.
Let's talk about how you were able to see much clearer as a young lad, growing up with the keys. How old were you when you started?
About
Really?
13, playing an accordion.
You started on the accordion at age 13, for real?
Yeah.
Okay. What was
And-
the influence for you?
Some guy walked through the neighborhood and I had a monkey, so I said, "Hey, might as well play the accordion."
Walk the streets of New York City with a little cup?
It's I wanted to play the guitar. My brother was older; he got the guitar. I got the accordion.
He got the guitar.
Mama's got a squeeze box. So we were playing in a little band on the street. All the kids in the neighborhood playing old monkey songs and the accordion. And I said, "This sucks." So I moved on to bigger and better things. I bought an organ, and I started playing Question Mark and Mysterious, all that stuff back in the 60s. And then my cousin had a band, and he asked me to play keyboard, and I said, I really can because I'm not that good. And basically the guitar player at the time showed me chords, a man you know quite well, Phil Granny.
Phil Grande.
And we had a quite popular band back there called Main Street.
You and Phil go back quite a ways.
Long time.
We're talking about a guy that had an opportunity to play with Joe Cocker on guitar way back when.
Good times. And he had an opportunity to play stickball with me all the time. We used to play at the church.
How did he do?
He was great, man.
How were you?
Okay,
You were just okay?
I was okay.
We're talking about stickball now.
That's what we're talking about. I know. I know. And that's right. I do play. But yeah, and then we started playing a lot. I was like 15 years old. Actually, I was doing the math the other day. This will be my 38th summer.
You can do math?
Yes.
Because I know you teach.
I teach math.
So you can do math?
Sometimes. Depends. It's going to be a multiple choice question.
No, I think we're done on that.
But yeah, and then I was playing around, kicking around in rock bands. I got out. We were a dance band back then, and then I left that. I couldn't stand it. Once they
you went through that phase.
It went through that phase. It was good. We were playing like 4 or 5 nights a week, and it was great.
To work back in those days, you needed to.
It was great. Every club on Long Island had music 7 nights a week. You couldn't not work. You fell down the street, you had a gig. It was pretty much. And then I stopped playing for a little while, and then I ran into Phil again, and he said, "Hey, I just finished an album with Gary U.S. Bonds, and he's looking for a keyboard player." So I met with Gary, and I toured with him for a little while. And then, did the whole wedding band thing.
How long did you work with Gary Bonds?
About 2 years.
You did a 2-year thing?
Great singer, great guy.
And right from Gary, you headed into the wedding band thing?
Yeah, it was back and forth. Yeah,
right.
Because I got married right after that, and, how'd that work out? Not too well. But
I wasn't going to ask that, but okay.
We could change the words. You could have my wife, but please don't mess
I can go work the camera while you have the conversation.
Knock yourself out. But yeah, and then I moved away for a couple of years, and I lived in Virginia.
Were you playing down in Virginia?
Yeah, I played both kinds of music down there, country and western, and that was a lot of fun. Then I had all my teeth, so I kept getting fired from all the bands. And then I moved to Florida for a little while.
It's funny because on this stage, there's 2 types of music, blues and everything else.
That's right. And and then I came back, and I was at a party, and I met Pam. I was playing, and I started hanging out, and went to see her again. It had been a long time since I had seen her. A long time. And like she said before, I showed up at some place, she was playing, had a keyboard, and that was it.
Timing is everything, my man.
Yes.
Good timing on that, indeed.
It was great timing.
The paths have crossed with you and Pamela.
Hell yeah.
And you two have been making beautiful music together.
Yes, sir.
Literally.
That's true.
And I'm glad to see it. I'm glad to see it.
Well, us too.
Some serious talent on the stage tonight. And Frankie, you're a tremendous, tremendous talent to every project you touch. So I thank you for what you do. Pamela, how you doing, kiddo?
I'm good.
I say we get into another tune.
Oh, wow.
We'll come back and talk to
You're
the rhythm.
such a slave
We'll
driver.
come back and chat with the rhythm section. We got to take advantage of the time while we got it because you people are kicking butt in here tonight.
That's true. And this is a song that I wrote called Betty's Blues.
You did write this one.
I did.
Named after yourself there.
Named after myself.
Coincidentally.
Coincidentally.
You good to go?
Who knew?
I'm going to look in this direction and say this. Once again on the Blues Warehouse, we are going to keep it moving with Pam Betti.
I keep wondering to myself, Lord, I keep wondering what is wrong with me. I keep wondering to myself, Lord, I keep wondering, yeah, what is wrong with me. I said, no matter how much money you make, baby, you can't get my love for free. I said, I love you, baby, can't you see it? Yeah, in my eyes. I said, I love you, baby, can't you see it? Yeah, in my eyes. I believe that my thoughts are truth, but they turn out to be lies. I'm telling you now, so listen up, boy. You say you want a woman and not another toy. Don't give me no sweet talking, I said I won't be used. You want an answer, but I'm blowing confused. I keep wondering to myself, Lord, I keep wondering what is wrong with me. I said no matter how much money you make, baby, you can get my love for free. Woman. All my thoughts are truths, but they turn out to be lies. I believed all my thoughts are truths, but they just turned out. I said they just turned out. I said they just turned out, yeah. I said they turned out to be lies, yeah. They were lies, honey.
Oh, yeah. This week's featured artist, the Pamela Betti Band. I can't stop doing that. I'm sorry. I can't stop saying that. I want to grab Craig Privitt on the bass if I'll head on up to John's mic. How you doing there, Craig Privitt?
I'm doing good, sir. How are you?
You can lift that up a little bit.
Yes.
I knew someone was going to squeeze out a bit of an English accent tonight.
That would be me.
After the little chat we had earlier.
Yes, Governor.
You got that out of your system?
Yes, I do. Let's go.
I thought you were going to do a little more.
Oh,
You good?
I'm good to go.
It's good to see you, man. It's good to see
be
you.
seen.
Holding down the bottom end real well as usual.
Thank you.
Let's talk about the history with you. Let's talk about when you began, Craig.
I would say I started playing bass at 15. I played guitar before that.
What age were you on the guitar?
Probably around 9, 10, elementary.
You still dabble with the guitar today?
A little bit, not much.
Okay.
Not much.
Okay.
You know, when I finally picked up a bass, that was it, you know.
You grew into the passion.
Yeah,
Pretty early.
I always, that's what I hear first, you know, on anything I'm listening to. It just comes out naturally.
What kind of music were you listening to as a kid growing up into?
As a kid, probably starting with the Beatles. You know, I have older brothers. They were turning me on to the Beatles, Pink Floyd, various things. Then all of a sudden I heard Black Sabbath, and I was like, wow. So it was Paul McCartney. Then I liked Geezer Butler. Then, and then all of a sudden, you know,
a little bit of diversity in there,
yeah. But then I got into the jam thing. You know, the Allman Brothers, Grateful Dead, and those type of people jamming and things that go along with that. And that was a good journey for what it was. You know.
Let's talk about late teens, early 20s. Were you involved in projects, music projects in those days?
Well, I went to Suffolk Community College and started studying a little bit of jazz, trying to understand what's actually going on behind the music. You know?
Do you understand today?
No, I'll never understand, but it's a lifelong process.
That's what I understand.
Yeah,
That's what I understand.
That's true.
But whatever bit of knowledge you've retained, so far so good, it looks like.
Yes. I'm always trying to, you know, I study with people here and there, and I went to City College for a year, studied with Patitucci and Lincoln Goins, and found out there's a lot of good players out there. But at the same time, I've discovered learning your own voice is where it's at, and that's what I'm trying to do.
So far, so good, my man. So far, so good. Let's talk about things you were doing musically around Long Island before Pam Betti. What were you doing right before Pam?
Before Pam, I was doing about 2 to 3 years in the penitentiary. Just kidding, folks. Come on, I got good behavior. No, actually, I was playing with a band called Cool Fish. They're like they're working here and there, you know. I've looked at it. I've been progressing, you know. So when the time was right, all of a sudden Frank called. I was trying to get some more work, and then it's been, you know, amazing ever since. You know, this is a really fine group of players.
How long have you been playing with the Pam Betti Band?
Probably about 2.5 years.
It's been that long now.
Yeah. and it's amazing, you know, to be able to play with Sal as a rhythm section and back these guys, you know, it's just easy. It's like a fine, well-oiled machine. You come up here, just it's not work, you know. It's just you know,
effortless.
It's everything you'd look for.
It's like breathing,
you know?
for you people.
And like Johnny was saying, I'd do this every day, you know.
With these musicians.
Yes.
I know.
I like to do some things on the side, but nothing compares to this. You know,
it's a rarity to find musicians this talented that get along actually this well, for real.
Yeah, it's a blessing.
You know, I know a lot of musicians that have been on the stage doing this show that play well that just can't stand each other.
Yeah.
Not the case with you
people. We
people.
don't have that problem, thank God.
I'm glad to see it. Craig Privitt holding down the bottom end real well, my man. I appreciate everything you do. Another massive contributor to the musicianship on Long Island. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Craig Privitt on the bass. Pam Betti, how you doing, kid?
Hello.
Something's wrong there. That's all. Just take it off the stand.
I have my Gene Simmons Kiss shoes on tonight.
Listen, if I could throw a suggestion at you
Check
people.
these out, video.
Those are pretty. Those are pretty. Can you dance in those?
You're lucky I'm standing.
Can't dance, no.
Pam,
A
if I had to make one suggestion for you guys,
What?
just to make this unbelievable band a tiny bit better, lighten up. Try and have some fun. Can you do that?
We'll try.
I just
We'll
want
really
to
try.
correct Craig. It's really been 2.5 weeks, okay?
Oh, stop.
It feels like for you, huh? And he says it with a smile on his face. Of course, he's kidding.
And he has a nickname. Sal named him Boomerang.
And you teach math, huh?
I do?
We'll get back to you on that. Pam Betti,
Mark Klein?
let's get you people to continue to do what, in my opinion, you do best, and that's perform for these lovely people out here. What do we? What do we?
Actually, this is an oldie but a goodie. It's called Cheatin' in the Next Room.
You good to go?
We're ready.
Long Island Blues Warehouse, Pamela Betti.
Cheating in the next room, making plans to meet her soon, talking softly on their telephone, making plans to go out and roam. The love no longer there, that woman of his heart no longer cares. It's best we call it quits and go our separate ways. Playing that cheating game only leads to hurt and pain. Cause each other unhappiness. Oh, cheating in the next room, making plans to see her soon. I hear you talking on the telephone, making plans to go out and roam. just to do me wrong. I hear you cheating, cheating in the next room. That love no longer there. That woman of his heart no longer cares. It's best we call it quits and go our separate ways, yeah. Playing that cheating game only leads to hurt and pain. Does each other hurt happiness? Oh, cheating in the next room, oh yeah, yeah. I hear you thumping, bumping on the telephone, hey. Ooh, you're thinking now, you're thinking I'm gonna go do her wrong. Don't you think I know you're cheating, cheating in the next room? Yeah, now, cheating in the next room, baby. Oh, yeah, you're bumping, 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 bumping on the telephone, yeah. Oh, baby, gonna do me wrong. I know you're cheating in the next room. I know you are.
Oh, yeah, this week's featured artist, Pamela Betti. It's songs like this, Pamela, that when you're from Long Island taking trips down to, like, Atlantic City and you're on the Garden State doing that 3-hour boring drive down south, it's tunes like that that get you through that boring trip a lot easier.
Really?
I think so.
I play Metallica all the way down. No.
Appreciate that.
Sorry.
Appreciate that.
But whatever works for you, Klein.
That works for me, and it works for many others too, I'm guessing. I want to grab Sal DeVito on the drum kit, if he'll please pull that mic from behind him in front of him so it can be, in fact, used properly. How you doing, Sal DeVito?
I'm all right. How
Sal,
are you, Mark?
I'll tell you, I've been watching you for years, and I always love what you're all about behind the kit, man. A guy that can definitely exchange eights with the best of them, I want to start by saying.
Thank you very much.
Let's talk about the history. Let's talk about when you were a young lad learning the kit. How old were you?
About 12.
You started at 12?
13, yes.
What was the influence?
Ringo.
Ringo.
Bonham.
Great
Mitchell.
Great influences to have.
Ginger Baker.
Ginger, sure, sure. Let's talk.
Keep on going.
Say it again.
I could keep on going.
Throw another one at me.
We're all in there.
Let's talk about what you were doing. Were you playing school projects, junior high, high school days? Were you performing in school?
Yes, we were playing the talent shows.
You
Me
did the
and
talent-
Vinny St. John. Yeah, we had a little band together. We did that. First applause was there for me, like John said, you know.
It grabbed you.
That was it. That was it. That was it for me. Playing in front of people was the best.
Let's talk about things you were doing before Pam Betti.
Let's see. We were doing Big Shot.
Big Shot.
Joe Tribute Band.
You had a nice run with those boys, didn't you?
6 years.
John Scarpullo on sax.
John Scott Pula, Mike Del Judas.
Mike Del Judas, the front man. Great, another great bunch of musicians on Long Island.
Yes.
You played with those boys for a period.
Yeah.
Very cool, very cool. Throw some other things at me.
What do you want me to throw at you? Carolyn Moss.
Okay.
Played with her for a long time.
The guy that does the intro to my show out of the Blues Brothers thing, Scott Ross.
Scott Ross.
You did
Good friend
something
of
with
mine.
Scott, didn't you?
Yeah, I played with Scott
So
for a
did
while.
Pam Betti a while back.
As a matter of fact, Scott set me up with my wife.
Scott set you up with your wife?
Yeah.
The guy
Yes,
that
he
does
did.
our intro out of the Blues Brothers bit, Scott Ross, Long Island's
Yes, he
own.
did.
He set you up with your wife you're with today.
Yeah, that's right.
How'd that come about?
22 years.
How'd that come about?
Well, he was my brother's friend, and he kept on saying, "You have to meet Sal. You have to meet him. You got to meet him." And all of a sudden, I was in the club, and there she was, and it happened. It was like magic,
Really?
you know. So it was great.
Well, thank you, Scott Ross, for putting Sal together with his
Thank
wife
you, Scott
today.
Ross. He took good pictures too. He did
Great,
he did
great
my wedding.
photographer as well as a guitar player.
Yes, he did.
Very seasoned talent on Long Island, this fella.
He's great.
So he put you together with the wife. Very cool. Very cool.
Yes, he did.
Let's talk about when you got involved in working with Pam. How did it come about for you to play with Pam?
Again, here we go.
Scott Ross.
Scott, no. That was my wife again. You know, we're driving around in Port Jeff. We hear this girl screaming out of this club. She goes, you gotta hear this girl. Turn around, turn around, turn around. All right, so we walked in the club. I knew the bass player that was playing with her. And she was great then. You know, I just had to play with her. You know, it was one of those things. I got back in the car, and I said, I got to play with her. Who knows her? I went on the website. I saw Richie Canada's picture. Called him. Oh, yeah, I know her. Right? And then all of a sudden, Frank called me. And he knew her. And that's how it happened. He dialed the wrong number,
It was the
really.
wrong number. Don't quit your day job, Frankie.
You know?
You played with Sal in the old days as well?
Yeah, me and Frank go way back.
You guys go back a ways.
Yeah. At least.
How long are you with Pam Betti now?
Just about a year and a half.
About a year and a half.
Yeah.
You got a great feel, tremendous dynamic.
Thank you.
Amazing contribution to this project, my man.
I love it.
So, Sal DeVito, we certainly
like John
appreciate what
said.
you're all about. I've seen you in some of these past projects you mentioned, like when you worked with Scott Ross, and I've seen you in the Big Shot thing at Westbury Music Fair. I've seen you do some great things over the years, and you're just a massive contribution to what we do on Long Island in terms of musicianship. So we thank you so much for what you're all
Thank
about.
you.
Sal
Thank
DeVito
you
on the
very
drum
much.
kit, we thank you, sir.
Thank
Pamela
you.
Betti, we got time for two more. Let's do another one, and then we'll do our goodbyes, and then you people will play us out. What are we going to do next?
Heart to Tear, original.
Say it again.
A song called Heart to Tear.
An original by you?
Yes.
You good to go? We'll do the song, then we'll do our goodbyes, and we'll push the website. We're going to do it before the show ends, but please share with us the website now so people can...
It's PamelaBetti.com, and my last name is Betti. Everybody spells it with a Y, and it's incorrect.
It's Pam or Pamela?
Incorrect. It's Pamela. PAMELA.com. For those slow people out there, P-A... Sorry, I'm only kidding.
We appreciate that.
Sorry, I'm used to working with the band. So
Can you do sign language too?
Oh, you don't want me to do my Italian sign language.
All right, we'll hold it. Another,
Yeah.
another story for another time. Let's get into the tune. We'll come back to our goodbyes, and then you'll play us out. You good to go?
Let's go.
Long Island Blues Warehouse, Pamela Betti.
I'm so tired of all this living. Gonna move on out for sure. Leaving all the past behind. Ain't gonna be a fool no more. The hard times can strip you of the girl you're supposed to be. Running from your heart, you know, only brings you back to me. And your face I see clearly on that cool autumn day. Your arms, they surround me, and they're taking all my pain away. Yes, your eyes, they seduce me as my tears fall like rain. And I'm waiting, 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 waiting for my heart to tear. And the life that you're taking, you never can take again. sweet memories of the time when I knew you then. And your face I see clearly on that cool autumn day. Yeah, your arms surround me and they're taking all my pain away. Yeah, say your eyes, they seduce me as my tears fall like rain. And I'm waiting, 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 waiting for my heart to tear. Oh, I'm waiting for my heart to tear now. That's right, baby.
Oh, yeah. This week's featured artist, the Pamela Betti Band. We got to thank on the keys right over here, handsome Frank CINTRONE. Thank you, Frank. Thank you. On the drum kit, we got to thank Mr. SAL DeVITO. Thank you again, Sal. On the bass, Mr. Craig PRIVITT. Thank you, Craig. On the guitar, on the other side of the room, Mr. John HASETH. And last but certainly not least, Pamela Betti. Lovely Pamela. Thank you so much, Pam.
Thanks, Mark.
Pam, kick-ass job as always. Please share with us the website one more time if you would.
PamelaBetti.com.
B-E-T-T-I.
Pamela Betti. B-E-T-T-I, yes.
We got to have a special hello, by the way, to Lee and Greg, owners of Full Throttle magazine for New York, New England. For further info, please check them out at www.fullthrottlenyne.com. New friends of the Long Island Blues Warehouse. Please remember to check out EKO Studios at ekoproductions.com. They are the official studio of the Long Island Blues Warehouse. And for the Blues Warehouse, I'm Mark Klein at liblues.com. So thank you so much for checking us out, seeing what we do week after week. Pamela Betti,
Mark Klein.
thank you so much for doing
Thanks
what you
so
do.
much.
You're going to play
Appreciate
us out. What are we finishing up with? Is that right?
Yeah,
Are you good to go?
we're good to go.
Please say goodbye to this week's featured artist, the Pamela Betti Band.
Ooh. 25 years and my life is still trying to get up that great big hill of hope for a destination. I realized quickly when I knew I should that this world was made for this brotherhood of man, for whatever that means. And so I cry sometimes when I'm lying in bed just to get it all out what's in my head. And I'm feeling a little peculiar. And so I wake up in the morning and I step outside and I take a deep breath and I get real high and I scream from the top of my lungs, what's going on? And I said, hey, yeah, 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 hey, yeah, yeah. I said, hey, what's going on? Hey. And I pray, oh my God, do I pray every single day, yeah, for a revolution. And so I cry sometimes when I'm lying in bed, just to get it all out what's in my head. I'm now, I'm feeling peculiar. And so I wake up in the morning and I step outside and I take a deep breath and I get real hard and scream from the top of my lungs, what's going on? And I said, hey, yeah, 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 hey, yeah, yeah. I said, hey, what's going on? And I said, hey, yeah, 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 hey, yeah, I said, hey, yeah, what's going on? And I said, hey, yeah, 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 hey, yeah, yeah. I said, hey, yeah, what's going on, yeah? And I said, hey, yeah, 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 hey, yeah, yeah. I said, hey, what's going on? 25 years and my life is still trying to get up that great big hill of hope for a distant nation. Yeah.